You've been sold a lie. The idea that you should spend the best 40 years of your life sitting in a cubicle, trading your health for a pension, only to finally start living when your knees are weak and your energy is gone, is the greatest financial scam of the 21st century. It's time to flip the script. Welcome to the era of reverse retirement. Imagine your life as a 24-hour clock. The traditional retirement model asks you to work from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. in the dark, just so you can enjoy the last 2 hours of the night when you're too tired to even stand. We call this the deferred life plan. Society tells us this is the safe route. Go to school, get a stable job in London or New York, pay your taxes, contribute to your 401k or SIPP, and wait. Wait for what? For a version of freedom that you might not even be healthy enough to enjoy. The reality is that time has different values at different stages of your life. A month spent traveling the world or starting a passion project at age 30 is worth infinitely more than that same month at age 70. At 30, you have the physical vitality, the mental sharpness, and the appetite for risk that simply fades with time. Yet, we are conditioned to hoard our best years and sell them to the highest bidder, hoping we can buy back our freedom when we're old. But what if you didn't have to wait? What if you could take slices of your retirement now, while you're young enough to actually live it? This isn't about being lazy or avoiding work, it's about strategic sabbaticals. It's about understanding that the economy has changed. In 2026, wealth isn't just about the numbers in your bank account, it's about the autonomy over your calendar. The reverse retirement model suggests that instead of one long, 20-year exit at the end of your life, you take mini-retirements every 5 to 7 years. You work intensely, build your invisible assets, and then you step away. You recharge. You learn. You live. And then, you return to the workforce with more clarity and higher earning potential than the person who stayed at their desk for a decade straight, slowly burning out. Most people are terrified of this because they think their career will vanish if they stop for 6 months. They think that gap on their resume is a death sentence. But in the modern world, the person with diverse experiences and a rested mind is the one who leads. The person who never stops is the one who breaks. Before we dive into the math of how to actually fund this without going broke, you first have to break the psychological chains of the 9-to-5 culture. You have to realize that the standard path was designed for a world that no longer exists. The biggest fear keeping people in the US and UK chained to their desks is the gap year terror. We've been brainwashed to believe that if we step away from the corporate ladder for even 6 months, the ladder will be pulled up, and we'll be left stranded. But look around at the 2026 job market. The traditional, loyal employee, who stays at one company for 30 years is a disappearing breed. Companies today don't value just duration, they value results and adaptability. When you take a strategic mini-retirement, you aren't just sitting on a beach. You are decompressing, upskilling, and gaining a global perspective that the person stuck in a fluorescent-lit office simply doesn't have. In the modern economy, resume gap is only a weakness if you can't explain it. If you spend that time mastering a new language, consulting on a project, or even just regaining your mental health to avoid a $50,000 burnout medical bill, you aren't a liability, you're a high-value asset. The math behind reverse retirement is surprisingly simple but requires a shift in how you view your emergency fund. Most financial advisors tell you to keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in the bank for a rainy day. In the reverse retirement model, we call this the freedom fund. You aren't saving for a disaster, you are saving for a planned exit. If your annual expenses are $40,000, and you can live leanly on $25,000 during a sabbatical, then saving an extra $25,000 isn't just savings, it's a literal year of your life bought back from the corporate machine. Think about the opportunity cost of staying. Every year you spend in a high-stress environment without a break, your productivity declines, your creativity dies, and your market value plateaus. By taking a year off every 5 or 7 years, you effectively reset your internal engine. You return with the hunger of a new graduate but the experience of a veteran. This allows you to negotiate higher salaries and better positions because you are no longer acting out of desperation. You are working because you choose to, not because you are one missed paycheck away from losing your home. The industrial model wants you to believe that security comes from a steady paycheck. The reverse retirement model proves that true security comes from the ability to survive and thrive without that paycheck. It's about building a life where work is a part of your journey, not the destination itself. To make this work, however, you have to master the one thing most Westerners fail at, the separation of income and identity. If your identity is tied to your job title at a big firm, you will never feel safe enough to leave. But if your identity is tied to your skills and your freedom, the world becomes your playground. The goal is to reach a state of functional independence much earlier than age 65. This doesn't mean you never work again. It means you never have to work a job you hate just to pay for a lifestyle you're too tired to enjoy. The industrial model wants you to believe that security comes from a steady paycheck. The reverse retirement model proves that true security comes from the ability to survive and thrive without that paycheck. It's about building a life where work is a part of your journey, not the destination itself. To make this work, however, you have to master the one thing most Westerners fail at, the separation of income and identity. If your identity is tied to your job title at a big firm, you will never feel safe enough to leave. But if your identity is tied to your skills and your freedom, the world becomes your playground. The goal is to reach a state of functional independence much earlier than age 65. This doesn't mean you never work again. It means you never have to work a job you hate just to pay for a lifestyle you're too tired to enjoy. The reason most people in the West can't imagine taking a year off is that they are overleveraged. They live in a house that requires 2 six-figure incomes just to keep the lights on. They drive cars that carry $800 monthly payments. They have built a lifestyle prison. To unlock reverse retirement, you have to become an architect of your own expenses. It's not about being cheap, it's about being strategic. If you can lower your fixed costs, the big things like housing and transport, you suddenly find that a mini-retirement is surprisingly affordable. This is where the concept of geo-arbitrage comes in. If you are earning in dollars or pounds but spend 6 months of your sabbatical in a place where your currency is 5x stronger, you aren't just saving money, you are multiplying your time. In the 2026 digital economy, your location is a tool. You can work hard in a high-income city for 5 years, save aggressively, and then retire for a year in a beautiful, low-cost coastal town. During that year, your $30,000 savings doesn't just pay for groceries, it pays for a high-quality life that would cost $100,000 in New York or London. This pulse method, working high-intensity, then resting high-quality, is how the new elite are living. They don't wait for a gold watch at 65. They take the gold now, in the form of experiences and health. By detaching your lifestyle from the need to show off, you gain the ultimate luxury, the ability to walk away whenever you feel the burn of exhaustion. Remember, the goal of reverse retirement is to ensure that your best years aren't sold for the lowest price. When you control your lifestyle architecture, you stop being a victim of the economy and start becoming its master. You realize that a smaller house today can lead to a much bigger life tomorrow. To sustain a life of mini-retirements, you have to stop thinking about saving and start thinking about fueling. Most people save money to spend it, the reverse retirement builder saves money to buy cash flow. Your freedom fund shouldn't just sit in a low-interest savings account losing value to inflation. It needs to be an engine that keeps running even when you decide to stop. The goal is to reach a point where your invisible assets, like dividend stocks, index funds, or digital real estate, cover at least 50% of your basic living costs. When you have this passive floor, taking a year off isn't a financial risk, it's a calculated adjustment. Even if you aren't fully retired, having that income stream means you don't need a high-pressure corporate salary to survive. You can take lower-paying, more fulfilling work, or focus entirely on your own projects during your sabbatical. In the US and UK markets, leveraging tax-advantaged accounts is key to this engine. You want to structure your portfolio so that it grows aggressively while you work, providing you with the liquidity you need when you decide to take your reverse retirement break. By focusing on velocity, you ensure that your money is always moving and working. The psychological peace that comes from knowing your bills are partially paid by your assets is what allows you to actually relax during your time off. Without this engine, a mini-retirement feels like a countdown to zero. With it, it feels like a transition to a new level of freedom. You aren't just taking a break from work, you are testing a new way of existing. A common fear that keeps people from taking a break is the thought, if I stop now, my skills will become obsolete. But the magic of reverse retirement lies in skill stacking. When you step out of the 9-to-5 grind, you finally have something a busy employee never has, the time to learn high-value, future-proof skills. In the modern economy, doing the same thing for decades makes you replaceable. However, during a mini-retirement, you can master a new technology, explore a different industry, or even start a side venture. You don't return to the workforce as the same person. You re-enter at a higher level with a stacked set of skills that makes you far more valuable than the person who stayed at their desk, slowly burning out. Western employers in 2026 value perspective and problem-solving over raw years of service. A candidate returning from a sabbatical brings fresh energy and innovative ideas that a fatigued worker simply cannot offer. This is your chance to jumpstart your earning potential. Mini-retirement isn't just about resting, it's about upgrading your internal software. When you think without the pressure of a daily paycheck, your brain finds creative ways to generate wealth that you would have never seen otherwise. When you choose a path that defies tradition, your biggest obstacle won't be money, it will be social pressure. Your friends will be buying bigger houses, your colleagues will be chasing promotions, and your social circle might look at you with confusion. In cultures like the US and UK, status signaling is an addiction, and reverse retirement is the cure. People will tell you that you're ruining your career or that you're being lazy. But the truth is, they are afraid of your decision because you are doing what they never dared to do, choosing freedom. When you stop trying to keep up with the Joneses, you save the capital that funds your life. You don't need validation from people who are themselves drowning in debt just to maintain an image. At this stage, you need mental toughness. You must realize that the lifestyle race is a game where no one actually wins. While others are stressed about their next mortgage payment, you will be traveling, spending time with family, or building your own dreams. Your peace of mind and your happiness will be the only answer you ever need to give to those who doubt you. Reverse retirement is not a dream, it is a calculated strategy that anyone can start today. It begins the moment you place the first brick in your freedom fund. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow, but you must decide today that your time is not the property of a corporate machine. You are reclaiming your best years while you still have the energy to live them. The first step is to audit your lifestyle. Every dollar or pound spent on an unnecessary luxury is a day of freedom you have traded away. By staying low profile and building high-value assets, you enter a path where work becomes a choice, not a necessity. Remember, retiring at 65 is a social norm, but being free in your 30s or 40s is a mastery. Your action plan is simple: reduce your fixed costs, stack your skills, and plan for a mini-retirement every 5 to 7 years. These breaks will protect you from burnout and give you a life worth living. The world might try to scare you, but your math and your courage will keep you secure. Start valuing your time today and execute the reverse retirement blueprint. If you believe that waiting until 65 is a scam, hit that like button and comment "reverse" below. We are building a community of silent winners here at Donkey Invest. Subscribe to learn how to master your time, not just your bank account. I'll see you in the next one.